Hi, welcome to this game review. We'll have a look at a quite exciting Sicilian Dragon game where white got a crushing position, but he eventually misplayed it, unfortunately, and lost on time. But let's take a look. So it started as a Sicilian Dragon, the normal dragon. All of these moves are quite standard. And here, if white doesn't play bishop c4, it's known that black should play the move d5 and exchange in the center, and black is considered to be fine here. Of course, the positions are quite complex and white has a lot of different ideas here, but it's considered to be fine for black. This bishop d7 move, I think it's called the Chinese dragon. It is quite an old variation and the move itself looks quite logical, but nowadays computers are saying that this isn't really playable. No one really plays like this anymore, and this move might be a bit too slow, and from here white's attack is considered to be faster than black's. So h4 was played, which is fine. g4 is also an idea. h5, and white plays the good move g4 to open up the position. White's plan is to attack and take the initiative before black gets to create threats on the queen side. So black takes. If he doesn't take, white might go g5, or he might take here, after which black's king side will be slightly opened. But taking here probably wasn't the best idea. White continues with h5, which is correct. And now black has to take with the knight, as taking with the pawn would run into something like bishop h6, and queen g5, and knight f5 as well, and knight d5 as well to get rid of this pawn. And white should be winning here. So black took. But now white had to find the very nice move knight f5, which is very typical here, using the fact that the knight isn't really hanging and involving another piece into the attack. And white instead played the move f takes g4, which is a mistake. And the reason it's a mistake is because it's losing time. After this, now black is attacking the rook, and white's attack isn't really going. Black got to develop the bishop quite properly. After bishop e2, now black got the move, and he has time to do something in the game. So instead, if knight f5, now the big threat is to take here, and to get rid of this bishop, maybe then bishop h6. Also, this is now a real threat, so black has to take here, we take back. Now the threat is to take here and ruin the structure, so black has to play knight g3, but this is of course very dangerous, something like this. Black should be kind of fine, objectively, but white has a very big attack. This knight will drop at some point, and the compensation for the exchange will be very big. Okay, fg happened. The position is of course still very complicated, but at this point black should be fine if he finds some good moves. And here queen a5 would have been a very good move to prevent what happened in the game. It defends the knight on h5. Also, it perhaps prepares the other rook to go to c8, also giving the king some escape options in case the attack becomes unbearable. So rook c8, but now white found the nice move rook h5, kind of a positional exchange sacrifice, getting rid of the king's defenders. And now black has a lot of material, but white has more pieces in the attack, and these pieces aren't really doing anything for the moment. So rook g1 was played, which is very logical, but a bit more accurate was perhaps knight f4. Maybe the rook might be more useful on the h-file in some positions, and this knight is going straight towards this bishop, which should give white a big advantage. Here knight f4 happened. A bit more accurate is to go here, and after knight g6, knight d5. Perhaps knight f4 anyway, but the position is quite complicated. Both sides have their chances, and it is unclear who will checkmate who. Knight f4 makes sense. And now a knight after knight f3, black doesn't defend very well. Of course, this fork is very tempting, but it simply doesn't work for a couple of reasons. Firstly, black should have again developed a queen, and again this queen on a5, it helps with the defense sometimes, and it also helps in the attack. So this queen should be developed on a5, and it's important for black to understand that his issues are in the lack of development. He has a lot of material, so he shouldn't again try to win material. He should try to attack the king or get more defenders towards his king. And this is of course not obvious, but it's quite a typical idea. After knight f3, white took on g7, but even better was to checkmate by force with queen g2. Now this is threatened, black has to take the rook. Now knight h5, this is threatened, and black actually cannot do anything here. The game is just over. While black can give this check, we can just take it, or we can also ignore it like this, and there's no one to defend from checkmate on the next move. So white could have found this if he looked for more than one candidate move. He found rook g7, which is also fine, but if we want to get better, we shouldn't be content with the second best move. So rook g7 is also fine because this wins material, and at this point white is again completely winning, because not because he has more material. 3 pieces against 2 rooks is about the same, though pieces might be better, but again he is completely checkmated. He is attacking this very weak king, and he should be able to win the game. Queen a5 finally happens, and this is actually a good move, defending from queen h5, but now white had to find the only move to win outright, which is the very nice move knight f to d5, cutting off the queen, and from here this will simply be checkmate. The bishop and queen can do it all themselves. Knight e7 is also an issue. Bishop d4 if needed will also come, and this doesn't require any real analysis. White will just take or give checks and then take, and this is just checkmate. So again, white gave this check, but it only helps black. This bishop is now on a bad diagonal. This is a useless diagonal, and the king will now have some kind of escape square. So this is a big blunder. Now f6, knight d to f5. Again, the computer is suggesting this interesting move e5. Again, the idea is to cut off the queen, and then take with the queen on h5, which should end in checkmate. Instead of knight d5, white is still attacking, but at this point it's obvious that the attack has kind of stalled, and even though white does still have a big advantage, his advantage is now positional. His advantage is not based on his inevitable checkmate. It is now based on his material superiority. Well, I'm saying this because 3 pieces are usually better than 2 rooks, and also there are some weaknesses here, like the e7 pawn, the a7 pawn, and the king is just long-term weak. These rooks can't really do much, and white can win in the long term by simple moves like b3, king b2, a4, try to take space on the queen side, perhaps at some point invade with the queen somewhere. But queen f5 is a blunder because it allows black some counterplay, for example like this, and black can continue checking. He can even play e5, and now white's advantage has evaporated. So a few moves later, here after queen h3, here even black started to take over. At this point the pieces have not been coordinated, this knight has been dominated, this bishop is useless, and now black can even afford to go to an endgame where his rooks will be better than the pieces because they're better coordinated, and f5 will come as well. White refused this offer, queen f2, but now black had a chance to give this fork and take the e4 pawn, after which black is even winning, but he missed this chance. He played f5, and the game abruptly ended. Black won on time, white ran out of time, but at this point white's position is slightly dubious, but it is still playable, again with the move b3 to give the king some squares, and then white can start playing perhaps on the queen side, taking some pawns, maybe creating a passed pawn here, and the black's king is again always long-term weak, though white can't directly checkmate it. Also, this is of course not hang. So quite a difficult game. White attacked when he had to attack, but to properly attack we need to calculate a bit more. We cannot miss a move like knight fd5. Understandably, checks are what we want to check first, but if they don't work out, we should look for other moves. We really want to play queen h5 to get our biggest piece in the game, so we have to find a way to do that. And that was like this. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this was useful.